So there was a great Hasidic master by the name of Rabbi of Karlin. And one day, one of his students came to complain to him, Rabbi, when I discovered Hasidic philosophy and your teaching, I was all fired up. I felt a special connection. I felt so close to God. It was a very intimate connection in everything that I did. My relationship with my wife, the relationship with my children, my study of Torah, my prayer, even my working. Everything had a very, very deep meaning and brought me to great heights. But now, 15 years later, I feel empty. I feel void. I feel that I'm just doing the motions without feeling the emotions. What should I do? Avaron of Karlin looked at him and said, you're not the first one to ask such a question. King Solomon, Shlomo HaMelech, in his great wisdom, asked such a question, and he said, Halo, tishal al hayamim harishonim, adu hayu tovim mimenu ki lo bechokma she'alta zot. Why do you ask why the olden days were better than these? It's not from wisdom you ask this. And he told him a story of two individuals, two men, which were very, very successful businessmen. Unfortunately, they lost all their wealth. And they were on the brink of poverty. And they decided to go to the president of the community to take a loan instead of using currency that's not current. We'll say they had to borrow $100,000 each one of them. They received a loan, and they had a year and a half to pay back the loan. The first one saw $100,000 in his account. What do you think he did? He flew to London, Big Ben, Small Ben. And he went to Paris. Then, of course, you need to take a trip to the Eastern Hemisphere. And then you need to buy the best clothes, the best trip, the best this, the best that, Gucci, Mucci, Pucci. A few months later, not even 6 months, he made a magic trick. The $100,000 completely disappeared. The one that lent him the money was furious. I give you a loan, you take it for granted. Pay me back every cent. You're going to pay me back every single cent. You have nerve, you have chutzpah, you don't appreciate. The second one, on the other hand, took another attitude. He took the money, he took $25,000, he said to his family, I don't care how you do it, I don't care how you manage, I need to get back on my feet. This is a story of survival. And he gave $25,000 to his family and said, you're going to manage with that $25,000. With the $75,000, he went, he traveled, he invested again, he made some profit, invested again. Thank God he was able to rebuild himself. And finally, when he comes back to the president of the community to give him back the money, the president looks at him in his eyes and said, I've seen you work. I've seen the sleepless nights. I've seen you travel. I've seen the sacrifice, the investment, the appreciation for what I gave you as a loan. I know you're here today to pay me back my loan, but I want to tell you, this money is yours. Keep it. Said the Rabbi of Karlin to this Hasid, to this follower, this is what Shlomo HaMelech, King Solomon, was saying. Halo lama tishal al hayamim harishonim. Why do you ask why 15 years ago things were better than these? Ki lo mechochma. It wasn't your wisdom. It wasn't your passion. It wasn't your fire. Sha'altazot. The word sha'altazot could mean in Hebrew, you ask this, or you borrowed this. It was a loan. You see what happens in life. There are certain times when God opens a window of opportunity. As it says in the Talmud, En lo adam she'en lo sha'a. Every man has their moment of awakening. Every woman, every individual. There's this moment where God opens this incredible door, incredible window for you to be able to catch life, to bite into that peach with passion and just do it and make it and become. But God is generous. He doesn't pay the dividends only after you become. He already gives you a taste of what it means to become. And there are two types of people. There are the types of people that say, I'm a Jew at heart. I feel it. I feel such a connection. I don't have to do anything to connect with God. I feel naturally connected. And then they lose it because they never toiled for it. And there are those that say, 1 second, I'm receiving a gift right now. This is my opportunity. This is your time. This is your time to grow. This is your time to transform yourself. This is the time to be able to jump and to actually become that person I always wanted to become. Unfortunately, the latter is more rare than the first one. So my question tonight is, how do we become? How do we not be that person who didn't take advantage of the opportunity? We are living in very, very special times. What we saw happen just a week ago is one of these great moments where finally Israel took the time, the opportunity to become the ones that Hashem always expected us to be. Unapologetic to any nation. Do it ourselves. To such an extent where they want to call it a ceasefire. It's basically, I have nothing to my name. Please, let's make a ceasefire and say that I won. A preemptive strike. I love that word. Preemptive strike. What's a preemptive strike? There are times in our life that we're going on a slippery slope. There's certain habits that we continue even though we know they're not good for us. And the time is wasted and wasted again and wasted again and wasted a little more. And the nature of emptiness is that the more empty you are, the more you want to fill yourself with emptiness, trying to convince yourself that you're going to feel fulfilled. You're going to feel full. When really inside, there's a big hole. You're crying to the world that you're the biggest power. You're showing them you're the biggest power, but you never really invested in the basic things. You always wanted to jump the steps that would bring you to your true success and your true becoming who you deserve to become. So where do we take it from there? We need to make a preemptive strike before it's too late. Before it's too late and we're so addicted to this or to that, we're so habituated to doing certain things which bring us nothing, that one day we might just lose it all. Just like the addict that doesn't want to admit that he's an addict. I'm not an alcoholic. I just like, before going to sleep to relax, a nice glass of whiskey. Who drinks whiskey every night before going to sleep and can't go to sleep without his glass of whiskey? Call a spade a spade. Be honest with yourself. The first step in being able to become, being able to live your own greatness, which has been waiting for you to stop blocking it, is to say no. We say every morning in the prayer, "Motara adam min habehema ayin." The advantage of man over the animal is the capacity to say no. When I'm able to say no, not only to myself, but sometimes to others, at that moment, I'm saying yes to my true self. I'm saying yes to my greater self. And this is what God is waiting for us to say. Are you ready to say yes? The moment you say yes, even at an unexpected moment, when you think this is time to give it all up, you just did your own preemptive strike on your little personal Iran that's there building up weapons which just want to destroy you. The Talmud of Kiddushin in page 30 says, Yitzro shel adam yitgaber alav b'chol yom v'kesh amito. The Yetzer Hara, the evil inclination of a person, is always trying to take down a person and wants to kill him. Not only that, Amar Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi, mithadesh alav b'chol yom. It's always renewing itself. You think you conquered it with food, it gets back to you with your eyes. You think you conquered your eyes, it gets back to you with your anger. Everything is going to always renew itself. It's a fight. We live in a generation where everything is super easy. I want food. I press on the button and GoPuff sends me my food to my door. I want anything at any moment. Amazon Prime is there to feed me just like the manna came to the door of the tzaddikim. But I'm not really there yet. But it's okay. I have everything in my palm. The whole concept of effort in this generation has been lost. The result of 20 years of social media platform growing and growing is what we see on all the campuses. A bunch of total can't use a word that's polite. A bunch of total morons, which are completely empty-headed, empty-hearted, and scream from the river to the sea that they don't even know what they're talking about. And they're empty. So you can imagine if this is what social media has been able to create. Imagine the next generation, the next 20 years of virtual reality, sitting down on your couch, traveling the whole world from your couch, having everything without having to think, just using AI to be able to answer and think for you. This generation is going to be brain dead, completely brain dead. And any person that expresses some type of power will be glad to continue putting to sleep the whole generation. Everybody is very happy. Anybody that's in power loves this whole concept of putting a whole generation in anesthesia with all the distractions. Who will prevail? The only people that will prevail are the people that made an effort in their life. The people that said, I'm going to use all these tools not to preoccupy me and to occupy me more and to take my life away more, but actually to give me more the possibility to live the true life I want. Today, with everything that we have, we can actually have much more time on our hands. So the question is, why don't we use that time? What is the big problem of time management? What is time management? People think time management is managing time. Well, let's examine in the Torah, what is time? On the first day, Bereshit bara Elokim et hashamayim ve'et haaretz. God creates the heavens and the earth. And on the second day, He creates this. On the third day, He creates that. Every day, He creates something else. Kabbalah explains that every day was an expression of another emotion, another character trait of God. And therefore, the first day was chesed, was abundance, was kindness, revelation. The second day was the moment of separation. And therefore, God does not say it was good. It was a day of severity, of rigor. The third day was already a day of synergy. Every day is another expression of an emotion. Time is not money. Time is emotions. Emotions is life. You can be with your best friend or your fiancé, and 6 hours appear to be an hour. You can be in a class, and an hour appears to be like 6 hours, depending who's speaking. Hopefully, it's not true today. But I forgive you if it is. I take the full blame. You're at a red light, waiting, and you need to go somewhere. That 2 minutes is eternity. When you're fully focused, immersed, you can make out of 2 minutes a whole world. You can transform yourself. And that is the deeper meaning in En Lecha Adam She'en Lo Sha'a. There's no man which doesn't have that hour. The word hour in Hebrew, because we know that in Hebrew, everything has a much deeper meaning. The word Sha'ah comes from the word Vayisha Hashem el Hevel vel minchato. Vel Kain vel mitchato lo Sha'ah. When Cain and Abel, they both offered a sacrifice, God turned to Hevel, but did not turn to the offering of Cain. We ask every day, V'litfilatam she'eh, God, turn to our prayers. So what does it mean to have time? It means to have that turn of destiny, that turn in our life, that turn of consciousness that's going to permit us to actually be calm emotionally. Mastering time, being a master of yourself, bringing mind over matter. What does that mean practically? That's the tool that's going to make you become that person that you deserve. That's going to make a difference between you and everybody else in the generation that is completely consumed, absorbed in the quicksand of life and nonsense and emptiness. It's a question of becoming a master of your emotions. There's something which is very current. Today it's called ADHD. Attention deficit, high definition. No, attention deficit. I'm just joking. We all know what ADHD is. So, I was talking to you about my trip in Italy. No, ADHD. So, we live in a distracted generation. And we promote distraction. How do we promote distraction? I don't know if you've seen. Now YouTube has a default mode. You open YouTube and you go on a video, right away it's on mute. Did you ever think why? It's on mute because YouTube knows that you are at work or in the middle of a conversation on the phone, and at the same time on Instagram, so they know that you don't want anybody to see that you're not really there listening. Why is it that we always need to be busy in our mind and we're looking for so much noise? What are we looking for? We're looking for something, but we're not getting it. People are scared of silence, because silence means that I'm going to have to listen to my inner voice, my inner calling, my true calling, what I really deserve to become. And that is not something that's going to come for free. So since I got used to getting everything for free, and many times thinking that daddy and mommy are my ATM machine, therefore I've never earned something. And the Zohar says that Hinam, free, is a klipa, is the power of evil. Anything that's empty is a vessel for all the impurity in the world. Anything that's holy comes with a tremendous effort. It comes with toil, it comes with work, it comes with sacrifice. A lot of sacrifices. So where do we start? What is the key to success? And what is the key to actually becoming that person we deserve to become, without being overwhelmed by the changes we need to make, and at the same time to be able to have the presence of God with you every moment of your life? What is eternity? Eternity is not what's going to happen tomorrow. It's certainly not what happened yesterday. Most people are in a situation of tremendous anxiety. Now, I'm not talking about people that don't have money. I'm not talking about people that don't have an education. I'm not talking about people that don't have everything going for them. They have everything going for them, and the level of anxiety is so great that even children at a young age suffer of tremendous anxiety. Some psychologists say that ADHD is actually misdiagnosed. It's not attention deficit disorder. It's actually a level of anxiety. What type of anxiety? We have, the Rambam Maimonides says, 3 types of influences that influences us.
There's cops outside and a white Tesla in the back and a blue Volvo need to be moved.
We have announcement of public interest.
Guys, the whole street is blocked, and whoever has a white Tesla in the back over there, Model Y, and a blue Volvo. Guys, there's cops outside. It's not a joke. A white Tesla in the back. Nobody?
Anybody wants a white Tesla?
Blue Volvo? Okay, thank you so much. Nobody. White Tesla. Cops outside.
So we were talking about anxiety. Whoever has the white Tesla, this is your time. So Maimonides says that there are certain preconditions. There are certain things that we are predisposed to have. When you're born, you are different. Baruch Hashem, God blessed me with 8 kids and grandchildren. Thank God. He should live long and be well. And one child is very creative. The other one is very inquisitive. The other one is very organized. I'm still looking for that one. And every child, when he's born, is different. So they're the things that we're born with, and it's natural, it's our nature. Then there are the things we learn from our parents. We see father, we see mother. We see how father reacts to stress, and we see how mother turns her back away, rolls her eyes, or father raises his voice, and mother shuts down or reacts. One is a hurricane, the other one's a turtle. And we see this as children, and this is how we understand life. This is how you react. Some of us found themselves in a situation where the parents were from an older generation, where they didn't get affection. They only were asked always for results. So we came back with our report card, and when one subject wasn't on top, everything was pictured in the darkest possible way, leaving us always feeling, however great I am such a zero. Society pressures us with this. With social media, it's been completely at another level, the peer pressure we have, to be able to be better than the Jones and better than the Jonas and better than everybody else. We have to live up with the brands, with the cars, with everything, and at every social level, whether you're a billionaire or whether you're a simple student learning in school at the age of 7. We have this pressure to be the best. So what happens in our mind? Over time, this has created a tremendous anxiety. And how does that anxiety manifest itself? By always wanting to be somewhere else and do the next best thing. You know why I'm not married? Thank God I'm married for 30 years, happily married. You know why I'm not married? I'm not married because who says maybe I can find somebody better? On Instagram and on TikTok and on Facebook, there's so many much better. And this doesn't work and that doesn't work. I'm not ready to commit and settle down. There's something better. You know why I can't keep a job and I cannot be successful at what I'm doing? Because I have anxiety, thinking of the next thing I need to do. You know why I can't sit down? Because there's so many things to do. And this doesn't only happen to everybody. It can happen to everybody. It can happen to anybody. I myself, one day, started feeling a tremendous level of anxiety. And as I was driving back 6 o'clock in the morning from the mikveh, I decided to stop and go to the beach. Nobody's there at 6 o'clock in the morning. I sat down and I said, Shai, wow, something's wrong with you. I knew that from before, but what's wrong? And I started writing to myself, an art that today is lost, taking a pen and paper. And I said, Shai, let's write down all the projects that you want to accomplish, all of your ambitions. Let's just write it down point after point. And I counted afterwards 18 different projects. Now that sounds extraordinary. I'm Superman. I'm going to be so successful. Actually, the fact that I wasn't able to settle down, concentrate, focus, and get anywhere is because I think I can do it all. The moment I accepted that, inside of myself. And I said, you know what? I'm going to focus on 1, 2, 3 projects. And if I don't do them, then you know what? Instead of having 20% of 18 projects, I'm going to have at least 80% of 3. And I'm going to build on that. But having that humility only comes when you have calm inside of you. The problem is we are living in a generation of people that seem to have it all and really have nothing but anxiety. Anxiety of not knowing how they're going to maintain what they have. I remember some 22 years ago when I bought my house in Golden Beach. Everybody thought the rabbi bought his house in Golden Beach. Wow. And Baruch Hashem, it was extraordinary. It was a dream of my life. The same time I bought a nightclub, turned it into a shul. We started dancing on Friday nights around the bima. And at the same time, here I have a house. I'm able to host in my sukkah, a dream for a rabbi. 60 guests every meal. Wow. I never had a house where I could have 60 guests. And after all this high, I started becoming very depressed. And it was getting darker and darker and darker. 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Shai, you're a jolly fellow. What is happening with you? The only reason I'm sharing this with you is because I believe there's a certain point in life where we have to be able to identify what's blocking us. Until it hit me one day, I was talking to a friend. They're taking the car away. We should stop the class. We have 1 minute, 30 seconds. Boy, this is real anxiety. So anyways, the story is, just to finish the story, okay, with a bang, to be continued. The story is that I realized that I was blessed with all this abundance and success, and my anxiety was that I'm not going to be able to maintain it. What's going to happen tomorrow? So to make a long story short, the message I'm trying to give you tonight is that the key to success, the key to inner peace, the key to calm, focus, and having a real relationship with somebody and building a home, finding your spouse, finding your inner self and revealing your greater self, it's a small thing, but it's a very big thing. Live in the moment. Living in the moment is going to rid you of all your anxiety. At the moment that you are playing ball or with a friend, let your phones aside, be there fully. Try to feel present. At the moment that you pray, let that experience be the most intimate experience you have with godliness. At the moment that you do a mitzvah, that you're giving, at the moment that you're walking by yourself in the street, don't be distracted. Every moment is eternity. Once you turn every moment into eternity, 10 minutes at a time, 5 minutes at a time, you start training yourself to be here, you will see you'll be a master of your time, you'll be a master of your emotions, and you'll be able to actually enjoy. The next time you go on a date, don't try to think of anything else. Even if you know this is not the one for you, enjoy that moment. That's why we say Hashem Melech, Hashem Malach, Hashem Yimloch. First of all, we say, God, you rule, you are king in the present. Then we'll deal with what happened in the past and what's happening in the future at the same time. So I wish all of you great success to becoming your greater self. And Bezrat Hashem, as we live in the present, God will propel us to an extraordinary future, and very soon, with Mashiach together, we will live eternity. To conclude, I'd just like to mention that this Sunday is the Hilulah of the Lubavitcher Rebbe, who lived in the present at the highest possible level, was able to see thousands of people, and every encounter was eternity. So those who can, go to ohelchabad.org, write a letter with your name and mother's name, ask for a request. It's an auspicious day to receive tremendous bracha. God bless you.